Okay, so I did a little Facebook question asking people what they want to see for the next Real Thoughts, and I think the one that got the most likes, seeing how...
I didn't see it, so this will be a surprise.
So seeing how surely the biggest blockbuster, the most exciting film to come out this year, Alien Covenant, is coming out, why don't we talk about Alien Resurrection? And this in no other way ties into a review we're doing right now.
I think this is the one that swore Sigourney Weaver off of doing any more of these. So there's that. I mean, thanks for that. You scared your marquee star away because of this film.
This was like the one time where it's like, okay, can they? Because there's 2 times. No, I'll even say 3 times where it felt like they could come back. And, it's like, it was this one, and then it was Alien vs. Predator. It's like, okay, let's wait and see. And then with Prometheus, because all of those were promising something different.
I get why.
And it kind of gave the same bullshit.
I will say this. I get why she picked it. Because you have to pick it. And I'm just like, there was enough things where it's just like, oh, you could have some fun with this. You can start manipulating the character. Is she good? Is she bad? Like, there were pieces in there that I'm like, I could see how you could get fooled by this script and be like, ooh, maybe I can have fun with this and we can take the franchise in a different direction and originality afterwards will prevail. That never happened.
No.
But I could see why. And I feel like this film would have played better. No, that would have been rough because Aliens was so open-ended. I'm like, maybe this would have played better if it had replaced Alien 3. Like, if you pretend Alien 3 didn't happen and jump to this, but you would have had to explain what happened to Ripley.
I'd be pretty pissed off if this followed Aliens.
No, I guess,
and I did not like Alien 3, but I would be really pissed off if this followed Aliens. Because this is almost a comedy. It's like just so bizarre. I don't know.
I'm trying to think in what universe this could have worked. None.
I was gonna say, not even as like a B film. You kind of got, and it has a lot of people I like. I like the director. I liked, Delicatessen, City of Lost Children.
I guess so. Okay.
Stuff. I like Ron Perlman. I like Winona
I guess all I'm saying is maybe I would have put up with the let's resurrect Ripley and do this thing if I didn't have to already sit through Alien 3. Like, the very idea of Alien Resurrection to me bothered me. I guess what I'm saying is the idea of doing this movie maybe would have bothered me less if I didn't have to sit through Alien 3. But once you ended it with Alien 3, I'm just like, okay, we're done. We may not have liked it, but we're done.
When I was younger...
That's the one thing about Alien 3 I respect, is it was like, fuck it, it's over.
When I was younger, that's what actually drew me to it, because I'm like, okay, good, it doesn't stop with Alien 3, because at the time, that was the worst Alien film. Now there's, like, several to choose from. But I like the idea. It's like, oh, okay, like, maybe we can keep this going again. And I could sort of tell from the trailer it wasn't going to be scary, but I was like, maybe it'll be fun, and it was just so stupid.
Honestly, I would have just much preferred if they had just been like, fuck it, let's just remake Alien 3 and make it a better movie.
Yeah, I'm down for that. I'm totally down for that.
I would have, but to do Alien Resurrection, be like, well, now we're going to bring Ripley back, and I mean, it so amounted to nothing when it was all said and done.
Absolutely nothing.
Because it's like, it was basically like the Amazing Spider-Man 2, or the Amazing Spider-Man reboot. Like, we thought it was going to be something, and then maybe we can start over now. It's like, nope, that amounted to nothing.
Doing the same shit.
Absolutely nothing.
And doing it surreally bad. That's what's so interesting about this. Because, like I said, this director's done good stuff and interesting stuff and everything. And, but this, it's weird. It's kind of like getting
to... obviously a director who just was...
It's like getting Tim Burton for Alice in Wonderland. You think it'd be perfect, but it's no, that was actually the exact wrong choice.
It's. I'm not sure I would have thought it would be perfect. I think he was just out of his element. I don't think, like, I think this style of movie was not tailor-made for him. Mm-hmm. Like, Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland is a different beast altogether. Like, because I feel like Tim Burton could have done it. Maybe it was a script.
Just had a shitty script, yeah.
Yeah, but this one I'm just like, I just don't feel like he was made for this universe. And I'm not saying, like, Prometheus or any of them, but you can tell James Cameron and Ridley Scott, and even fucking David Fincher, were somehow kind of made for this. You look at David Fincher's films like, okay, even if the film sucks, he was made for this universe. Visually speaking, like, this works. Like, I just don't... Even the visuals in Alien Resurrection... I felt like, I can't remember if it was like, I thought it was too colorful or too, but
it was just yellow and brown. That was kind of it.
Yellow and brown,
we got an Alien 3, but it was done a bit better in Alien 3.
It didn't look scary. I didn't have
at least in Alien 3, it was claustrophobic.
Yeah,
it was claustrophobic. It was uncomfortable. Here, it was just ugly.
It felt cartoony. And then the kind of humanized alien at the end with the goofy skeleton grin and it looked like something out of a bad Castlevania game or a bad Scooby-Doo episode. Like, let's see who this alien was all along. Rip.
I'll say this, because we haven't seen Requiem yet. Out of all the Alien movies, this one, I will say, it's probably the most creatively bad, because I do think of just the batshit insane scenes in this, like Brandon Dourif and Ron Perlman and that dumb creature at the end.
Okay, well, this is the Mortal Kombat argument, where people are like, how can you say you like Mortal Kombat Annihilation more? Because it's so batshit bad that it's more memorable. And this is one of those rare cases. Honestly, if you put a gun to my head, you can only watch one of these two films. Alien 3 or Alien Resurrection. Oh, I'll throw on it. I wouldn't even blink. I'd be like, Alien Resurrection, because I'm like, it is so laugh out loud bad. That at least I'd be like, all right, give me the entertainment of watching real shit. Whereas Alien 3 is a better movie, but
I was gonna say,
I'm just like, Alien 3 puts me to sleep every time. I'm just like,
I might take Alien 3 because I'm a little bit more fascinated how it could have been a good film.
It is kind of
it's like I like analyzing it.
You may have a point there because it is the AI of Alien movies. It's like, see, I get something good out of it.
Alien 4, you just know it's like with the exception of Ripley, sort of having the DNA of the alien, and then the weird alien hybrids of her in the testing room or whatever. Like that element was interesting, but even then, I feel like it doesn't belong in this universe. That belongs in a different movie or spin-off or something.
The early parts of this film is the only time where I felt like, okay, maybe we can get something out of this, and then it just falls apart. And then it does nothing. It does kill the alien again. I mean, it was kind of cool seeing it get sucked through the little hole.
That was a little fun.
But again, I'm just like, and we're right back where we started. Like, that's the same fucking story, and it never goes. And that's why really only the first two are really worth watching.
Yeah.
Because by the time the second one's over, the novelty's worn off. There's nothing you can do now. And like, if what I'm reading about the reviews already for Alien Covenant...
Christ. I don't want to see that. I'm not... I'll just say right here, I'm not seeing it. Unless it gets like the absolute worst or the absolute most amazing.
The reviews from overseas are coming in, and it's just what I thought. It's like, yep, here's the exact same fucking movie again.
Don't care. I don't care. Yeah. Christ, why are we still making these?
Well, that's what they were literally like, Ridley Scott is like, in his late 70s now. I hope he lives a long life, but they're like, listen, it's just natural. You're not going to have X amount of years left. Like, can he be spending his time doing something like we're still on this? Like, really?
The one that, and it's funny because when you really think about it in terms of the Alien movies, you're right, honestly, in terms of genuine, actual good films, like, hey, that was a good movie, there's only two, Alien and Aliens.
There are no others. Like, you can argue, like, Alien 3 has moments. But, I mean, but when you talk about the great Alien movies, that's
all of them, honestly,
just two.
Again, I haven't seen Requiem, but all of them, I will admit, have had something kind of interesting.
Well, there's moments that are interesting.
There are moments, or cinematography or something. No.
You're gonna call Alien versus Predator great? No,
I can't do that.
It's awesome and there were some awesome scenes in that movie. I had to sit through like an hour of boredom just to get to any of that shit.
Yeah.
So. And it's been the same. Like, so it.
And the thing too, because this does go over the top and everything, and the one thing I was kind of like, it's a little fun to watch for how over the top it is, but at the same time, I kind of thought the same thing when I saw Harrison Ford kind of come back to acting. It looked a lot like Sigourney Weaver was trying to overcompensate for the fact that she's been away for a while. So she just comes in I'm tough. Yeah, who do I have to fuck to get off of this ship? And it just so doesn't feel natural. In the first two films, even Alien 3, she was so naturally badass. And this one, she's just,
who knows?
Look who's back. Yeah. And it was just like,
yeah, but here's the problem. Who knows? Because it's not really Ripley. It's a clone. We're talking about a different character. She may have been trying to play it different. Who knows what the direction was under that? Like, I mean, that's the thing. It all comes down to the directing, and the director has to try to guide you. As I said, I don't think this director was made for this. I'm not sure the director knew what he was doing.
Well, and here's the thing, this guy, let's face it, I love his movies, but he makes live-action cartoons. Everything
and this was a live-action cartoon.
And everyone talks like that and looks like that. Yeah, they
well, that's part of the problem. Okay, like
cartoons.
the scene was it Dan Hedaya that gets, like, face planted in the back by the alien and then looks at his brain. Here's the thing. It's an awesome scene. Belongs in another movie. Not because it isn't, the idea isn't scary. If done right, I'm like, oh, that's a terrifying scene. He looks so goofy. He's like, no.
Even the shot before was so ridiculous. Throwing the grenade in and following it in. It just goes total cartoon.
So ridiculous that I laughed. Like, I laughed at that scene. It wasn't scary at all. And I'm like, and it could be. Like, if you did that scene really seriously, like a horror movie, it could be great. Because, like, you're looking at a piece of your own brain. Like, that's crazy. Like, But, no, that scene was goofy. As I said, the skeleton, the half-human alien at the end, which was a cool idea. I'm like, well, that could be awesome. That looked goofy. The way it dies is both awesome, but also goofy. Like,
they even casted human cartoons. You think of Ron Perlman, Brad Dourif, and Dan Hedaya. Yeah. These are all human cartoons.
All guys that I love these guys.
I love them, yeah.
It just is not fitting in this universe. And maybe any of those three could have fit under a different director. But the way he directs them like a cartoon, it doesn't work. Like, and again, that's like a dream team. I'm like, how could this movie not be great with those three in it? And Sigourney Weaver, and then Winona Ryder now, who's made a huge comeback. That movie, I think that movie was the death nail in her coffin.
Yeah, that's like when it started. Suddenly, it was like Winona Ryder was like top of the world, and it was just like, yeah, maybe not. Now she's stealing shit. Okay, you need to go away for a while. And now she's back.
We forget this movie took out two people: Sigourney Weaver, who just said after this film, "Fuck it all," and Winona Ryder, who I think people just looked at like. And I don't have a problem with Winona Ryder. I think she can be amazing. So miscast in this. Yeah. Completely frickin' miscast. I don't buy her as that android for a second.
I'm trying to think, how would you even do... I'm sure there's a way, an interesting way. That's the one thing I'm shocked they didn't get, because this director is... That seems like something that director could do. This robot sort of faking emotions, and stuff like that, but sort of has the wide-eyed, what's going on. Like, you feel like he could do that, and that's like one of the biggest missteps, is that she was so bland and not interesting.
Because it belongs in a different film. If this were like a fucking Big O movie, and she were Dorothy, it'd be fine.
No. Even Dorothy, I think was her name, like, even she and her blank stare, it was so much more interesting than anything Ryder was doing in this movie. It just felt like it did not know what it wanted to do with that idea and that character. And even the idea of making her religious. I remember at one point, like, she
that's right.
It's like, you believe in it? And she says, I'm programmed to believe in it. How fascinating would that be if they dove into that?
It would have been great if they went all Red Dwarf and talked about Silicon Valley. Was it not written that the iron shall lay down with the lamp?
Where do all the calculators go?
Is that anything like human heaven? Of course not. Just made that up to stop you all humans from going nuts.
So good.
Yeah, no, I'm like, a part of me is just like, well, that would be an interesting commentary. So is religion just programmed into it? Like, but no, they go nowhere with it. Nowhere.
Would that be an interesting angle on the whole, because she comes back, and it's like, the resurrection, I mean, it's
this is my problem with the movie, and this is why I feel bad for Sigourney Weaver. I could see her looking at this script and looking at some of these ideas and going, that's interesting, and in the movie, I did the same thing. I'm like, that's interesting, that's... Now, unlike Sigourney Weaver... We didn't know where this was going. I don't know what her excuse is. She had to go from the beginning of the script to the end, unless maybe there were rewrites somewhere.
I was going to say, they could change.
Or maybe they changed after the treatment she read before she signed on. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, we didn't know where it was going. Mm-hmm. So I'm just like, oh, this is all interesting, and somewhere about the midway point, I just got this sinking feeling. I'm like, yeah...
It's kind of like, we're not coming back from this.
Because that's what was worrying me, is just like, even when it was still interesting kind of in the first half, I'm like, okay, where are you going with this? I realized I wasn't scared. That was the biggest thing. I was like, Alien 3 I may not have liked, but I'm like, it still scared me.
It
No,
is
I mean, there was a
still-
huge time difference because I was
It's suspenseful. I'll give it. I won't say
I
it's
think I
scary, but
was
it's
12 or
suspenseful.
13 when I was 13 maybe when Alien 3 came out, but so now I'm like in high school or something, or when did Alien Resurrection come out? I was either in high school or early college.
96?
Yeah, okay, that was in high school. Like, so a part of me thought maybe it was like, well, I'm just jaded now, like I don't get scared. But the more I thought, I'm like, no, I still get scared of shit. This just isn't fucking scary.
No, Alien
Honestly,
and Aliens are still pretty damn scary.
Fucking Event Horizon, as stupid as it was, probably had a couple scenes that I thought for jump scares were more scarier than Alien Resurrection. So
You know, there's two scenes in this movie that I think I'm like, okay, I could see that in an Alien film. One is when she goes in the room and sees all the other versions of her, because again, that's showing the evil of the corporation. That always is like a theme in these movies, and I can see that. That didn't work. Try another one. That didn't work. Try another one. I can kind of see that. That's both the most realistic thing about it, and also I'm just sick of it. No, I agree.
I'm like, I'm just sick of that theme.
Something I can see in Alien film. The other one was when
and it's true to life, but I'm just sick of it. I'm like, okay, at some point can we get past, the corporation's trying to fuck us all.
Yeah.
More sympathetic I could not be, but I'm just sick of seeing it in this series.
But the other is when Brad Dourif is testing the alien and, getting close, and so showing the teeth, and then it shows its teeth, and he blasts the button, and then he puts it over, and, it stops. He's like, oh, we're a fast learner. Like, that's very clever guy.
That was if you want the few moments where I was most invested in the movie, it was when Brad Dourif was testing them out, and when the aliens figured out how to fucking break out of there. Because that taught me more. Without really much, there wasn't really any dialogue. Brad Dourif makes a couple of observations, but we could have just noticed.
No, I think all it is we're a fast learner. That's it.
No dialogue. And we learned so much about the xenomorphs right there. And that was the best part of the movie. And then once they break out, it just all goes downhill. I'm like, this is all this, but that part I thought was fascinating. The way they kill one to break out, like, it was very Jurassic Park. Like, they learn.
Yeah, the way they look at each other and they look at the smaller one. I mean, it's like, there is something really fascinating about that.
When that one looks at you, you can tell she's figuring things out.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I have no interest in the new Alien movie. I really do not want to see it. I'm gonna try not to see it, if that makes sense, because it has to either get amazing reviews or the worst reviews, like a so bad it's good, like you just have to see how bad it is. And Prometheus I didn't like, but it's like, it's really not the worst of the worst or anything like that, because at least it looked pretty. I'm sure this one looked pretty too, but it's like, it's just the same shtick. You just go, alien kills them all.
It's like Blade Runner 2. I just saw the trailer for that, and I'm like, whoa, it looks pretty. Like, I mean, he always has interesting cinematography.
Well, he's producing that one. He's not directing that one.
Oh, he didn't direct? Oh, shows you how much I keep up on news.
Well, no, I thought he was too, and I saw that, and that actually made me more interested.
So he's attached to this alien movie, but
Now, you know what? With how he's been directing, I am totally okay with him not directing the new Blade Runner. I don't think I've seen a good movie from him since, was it like Matchmen or Matchstick Men, something like that? Like,
I was going to say,
a little comedy.
Matchstick Men, yeah.
Like, that was fine. That was okay. I don't think I've seen a good film from
I just
him
feel like
since
he's just been so all over the map since fucking Gladiator.
Yeah,
I was not a huge Gladiator fan.
No, me neither. I think that was sort of like the beginning of, okay, we're just going to
Hannibal.
Pretty CGI.
Hannibal is not 100% Ridley Scott's fault.
Hannibal is so crazy bad. I love it.
The source material was such garbage. But
I love how insane that.
But much like the book, the first half is pretty good. And then, just like the book, once they get out of Florence, takes a nosedive. Like, the movie does this. So, I can't entirely blame Ridley Scott for that, but I'm just like, that wasn't great.
I have that down on the list for reviews to do. I might want to move that one up too. I love talking about that. It's so insane. It just has, like, nothing to do with anything Silence of the Lambs. It's almost like a comic book movie.
That movie's so bad that honestly I'm just like, I think Red Dragon's the stronger story. I like Red Dragon. I like the movie Red Dragon almost by default just because the source material was better. And I'm like, I'm not convinced it's actually directed that much better. I just think that the source material was so much better that I'm just like, kind of like Brett Ratner's Red Dragon by default.
I love Red Dragon. I love Manhunter.
And Manhunter,
and they're as different as you can get.
Splice Red Dragon and Manhunter together, the things I like more out of each into one film, I would totally do it.
There's like an Oscar movie between the two of those.
Because I'm not because Brian Cox's non-performance in Manhunter doesn't bother me, but I'm just like, yeah, he exists, because this was pre-hit, but... So if I could splice some of Anthony... But Anthony Hopkins' performance in Red Dragon wasn't great either. It's like, I don't know, if I could just like mold those two movies into one, because there are parts of Manhunter I love so much better than Red Dragon, but Red Dragon also nails a couple of things better. I'm like, damn it.
Yeah, no, they're both... That is one of the most fascinating compare and contrast movies, because they both, in so many respects, nail what the book was doing, and then in other respects, it's like, okay, creative liberties, whatever, but man, is it interesting to compare those two.
Just like Alien Resurrection and Aliens are so interesting to compare and contrast. One is really good, and the other is not.
No. Pretty bad. But yeah, I will say there was, like, some people are just like, well, how could you look at this and even think, like, even look at the trailers, how could you think it was going to be any good? Because this really was, like, you know...
This was our last hope.
This was... You were the chosen one!
You're supposed to restore balance to the franchise, not destroy it!
Yeah, and...
no, I think we wanted to believe...
We were foolishly optimistic, we were. And we were hoping, I would say, even if it wasn't scary, I was hoping it would be cool and fun and, you know, maybe lean a little bit more towards Aliens with the action and stuff, and it's just like, nope. Very bad film. So, yeah, I can't think of
I don't know.
too much else. So,
I'm trying, like, is it the worst?
Is it? We have not seen Requiem. I'm hearing that's
Requiem's
the worst.
Still out there. Alien vs. Predator was not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
No.
It wasn't good, but I'm just
we have plenty to talk about. There's plenty to make fun of, but I'll just say I have a soft spot for that movie. And I can't say it's good. I do have a soft spot.
I don't have a soft spot for it, but I guess it was so talked down and shat upon that my expectations were so low that I'm like, well, this is not good, but honestly, it's got more standout moments to me than some of the other ones.
Yeah.
I'm like, at least I knew going in how dumb this was going to be, and that maybe it helped a bit.
Well, after Resurrection, and then after the Alien vs. Predator movies, were there any Alien movies? I think it just went to Prometheus. And
I'm just kind of done. I don't... What can you do with this story?
Well, that's the thing, Prometheus. I think everyone thought it's not going to be scary. It's going to go into the mythos and the backstory, and it's going to try something really different. And it's like, nope, it's just doing the exact same shit, except it's not new anymore.
And what I'm hearing is correct. We get to see it all over again, only this time it's with couples.
Well,
that was my favorite. My favorite review is from BBC, who's like, I have never heard the words "my wife" mentioned so many times in a film. Like, they never let you forget. Apparently, everybody's married.
Said more times than The Fugitive. My wife.
Yeah.
And you know, I saw one clip from this new one.
What would you do to save this? It was like to add some original.
Man,
I'd like to see the Earth actually taken over by aliens.
That's not bad. But that's kind of like Terminator. I know. I
just feel like, how do you like? That's the problem. Is Aliens was so, like, you had Alien, you had the one xenomorph, the crew that slowly killed off, and only one's left. You have Aliens. Now you have the colony with multiple aliens. You have an alien queen. You have fucking space marines. Most of them killed off. Handful. We got 3 left, I think. Well, 4 kind of, like, because Bishop's cut in half, and so
I want the movie Prometheus Promised.
Where do you go from?
No, I want what Prometheus Promised, which is a backstory about where they come from, almost like a mythos, almost like just watching this alien race. Maybe there's people in it. It's not really a big deal. It's more where they came from. This other alien race.
So would you do it like Alien versus Predator, only smarter? Like where they're going through ruins and digging shit up?
No, I wouldn't have as much people. I would have maybe a person or 2, but it's mainly following this alien race.
Okay, now here's my big question. Because, I mean, that's the problem with Aliens, is it so was perfect that it seems impossible to top. Like, they elevated it to the level of, like, we've got so many aliens, the Queen and this and that. How the fuck do you top that? Which I think is the problem the series got into,
I think you just gotta go different.
So, now, here's the question. Do you think that wrecks something, though, if we're answering all the questions?
Well, first of all, Prometheus didn't. But second, it's kind of like with Batman. Like, I didn't want to know what happened to Batman after his parents were shot. But because when Batman Begins came out, it's like, okay, no, look, we have to really redo this, redefine this. And they show you in great detail what happened. Even though it's not what I want to see, I thought it was interesting. It sucked me in. It gave a new point of view, and I got into it. I'm kind of torn,
because on the one hand, I'm like, well, that would be different, and maybe it would be interesting to know, like, how the xenomorphs work, the background, the mythos, and all that. But another part of me is like, maybe it's just better if it's unanswered. Like, it's just going to ruin it for me.
I agree, but if you put the task on me, because I don't think there should be any more Alien movies, but if you put the task on me and say, create life in this again, do something with this, I probably wouldn't go scary. I go horror, but I wouldn't go scary. I would go some sort of fantasy horror, going into the backstory of where these creatures came from, how they were created, and all this stuff, instead of just focusing on these people looking around again saying, oh, well, that's weird, I wonder where that came from. You see one new creature, and then that's it. And then it's like, oh, now we have 5 more movies.
And they always have zero charisma.
Yeah.
Like, it always blows my mind how that original crew, the original crew is really weird. Because on a certain level, they don't have a lot of charisma.
But they're uncomfortable with each other.
Like, it's almost like they just all kind of are just tolerating each other. But that somehow makes it interesting to watch. The Space Marines,
each other's edges.
And this was the secret to the Cameron film. The Cameron film is different that they're all fucking oozing charisma. Like, even the annoying guys, like Bill Paxton's character, like, you kind of love watching him and his freakouts. Game over! I'm like, you kind of, they're just like, yeah, I like these guys. I want to see most of them make it through. You have the commander, who was a bit of a prick, and then, of course, Paul Reiser, who everybody just wants dead because he's Paul Reiser. But I have nothing against Paul Reiser. But ever since then, I feel like there's been no cast where I'm just like, yeah, I really want to follow these people. I just don't.
I kind of want to follow Ron Perlman. That's just because it's Ron Perlman.
Okay, I'll give you Ron Perlman.
No, and I will give you, again, the lead in Alien vs. Predator. I liked following her.
Okay, that's the one person, though. Like,
no, in terms of a cast,
anybody else? Like, when the other Space Marines got killed in Aliens, I felt bad.
Yeah, it's like a legit downer. It's
even the commander who didn't quite know what he was doing, when everything falls apart and they're like, get the hell out of here, and he, like, fucking freezes.
I kind of feel bad for him.
I feel bad, yeah. It's not a situation where I'm like, you're an asshole. It's just like, oh my god, I feel bad. Like, he just wasn't prepared to, like...
And what a stressful... See, your heart's racing because you wanted to do something, but you're like...
go from beep beep to just beep.
Yeah, like, but if you wanted to do something, but at the same time, you're like, I feel you, guy. I'd be doing the same
The only person you hate, like, the only person you really hate is Paul Reiser. And I didn't even hate him at first. It's just when they do the reveal and you're just like, oh, okay, he's a douchebag. Like, but yeah, since then, I just...
No, I never got a cast.
And they keep doing the same fucking movie, but can never get that one thing right. And it killed Alien vs. Predator for me, because maybe that first 40 minutes would have been tolerable had I liked any of those people.
Just seeing
and that is the one thing you're right about Alien Resurrection. I'll give it that one bonus point is the plot is stupid and everything. I do like Ron Perlman. I do like some of those characters. They just didn't do anything with them. They had natural charisma, unlike everybody else.
Yeah, Perlman, and then the dude from Three Musketeers, the one that had the eye. He's got the cool voice like that. It's like, but they got rid of him really early, and I'm like, I love that dude.
He was good.
Stop killing him also early in movies. I love that guy.
The guy in the wheelchair, I thought he was cool.
Like, he got him. His voice got on my nerves. No, I'm taken. It's just, no, because I see him in other films, and I've seen him in other films, and he's great. You know, he's in all that guy's movies. I just couldn't stand that one.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it's time to retire.
Yeah.
The series.
Please stop.
Because I'm not convinced that I would like it actually knowing the whole backstory. Like, that was my problem with Ghost in the Shell. And I haven't seen the movie yet. I'm going to try to catch it at the Dollar Cinema, but that was my problem with what the series did. In one of the later anime series, they start fleshing out the Major's backstory, and I'm like, I suddenly realized, like, I don't want to know this. I don't give a shit. I like the fact that she's a character that just does her fucking job, and, like, that is who she is. That you don't need to know what exactly her whole tragic backstory was. That's the number one thing that's already bothering me from everything I've seen about the movie. Is I'm like, oh, give her a backstory, and I'm like, no.
Like you turn to the Joker there. No.
Somebody like, somebody was like, well, they're taking pieces from the later anime series where they was like, I hated that. I'm like, that's not gonna sell me on the movie. Sorry, like. But yeah, so I don't know.
Didn't tell anyone else from what I hear.
No, I do like. I do kind of want to see it like at the Dollar Cinema.
Well, now we're getting off track here. Yeah. So, but bottom line, just stop with the aliens. Unless who knows? Maybe this new one will like change everything. It really looks unlikely.
Maybe we'll eat our words, but somehow I doubt it.
I almost hope that's the case, but it's like I really don't think so.
Kind of like Wonder Woman, although I have more hope for Wonder Woman.
No, I'm really...
Yeah, like...
No, Wonder Woman at least looks good.
Yeah,
it doesn't look like the same shit. Alien Covenant just looks like the same shit.
But it's like, even if we eat our words with Wonder Woman, it's just like, I have more
I think it'll be good. I'm not saying
I think that one will be good. This one, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see, but that's my early prediction. So, yeah, that's about it, guys, and until then, my own secret recipe. Highly toxic contagion. I don't even read the line from the movie. Who gives a shit?
Game over, man. Game over.
Thank you. It's a better quote.
I know, right?